What's up, guys? How's it going? And we are finally back with more One Piece manga reviews on the channel, and I have a lot to cover briefly. So let's get started. So as of today, we have chapter 1053, but I'm gonna briefly also, after I go over this chapter, give my thoughts of each chapter that I've missed since chapter, I think it was 1046. So let's start. So in chapter 1053, which is the most recent chapter officially, we finally see Ryokuyu appear in the story, and it seems like he means business. However, something is a little bit weird because he feels different from what I thought he was going to be like. I thought he was like this very cunning and really laid back individual, like Borsellino, with a little bit of Aokiji mix in there, but he seems very impulsive. Like when we saw him more or less at the reverie with Fujitora, I thought he was going to be a little bit more laid back and maybe a little bit flamboyant, very different from Akainu, but he seems very keen on impressing Akainu and like winning his favor, and like he wants to prove something. He seems really impulsive. I thought he was gonna be a really chill dude, especially when we see him, just like the way we saw him in chapter 1052 at the end. He was like helicoptering to Wano, and I thought he was gonna be like a really chill dude. He seems like very hot-headed in this chapter, so that was a bit of a surprise. Maybe it's because something is bothering him. Although I just don't understand what is his game plan moving forward, because there's a lot of crazy individuals in Wano right now. We have Luffy, Zoro, Kid, Law. Like, how is he? I think he's just gonna try to kidnap Nico Robin and just bail, but I don't know what he is going to do about it, because there's a lot of people there, and he is just one admiral. And so I'm really happy to see he also kicked King and Queen's ass, but they were kind of weakened, so take that with a grain of salt. Besides that, the other thing that caught my attention in this chapter was, of course, the festival, because that's where that's when a One Piece arc comes to an end. When we finally get the feast, when we finally get like that big ass party, and I really enjoyed how they just skipped the formalities. They didn't want to wait 2 hours until the food was ready, so they just went out and started partying. I love that. That's very One Piece. And finally, of course, the the wanted posters and the big reveal that the new Yonkos are Luffy and Buggy. Like, what? I did not see that coming, but however, Buggy being an emperor is the most One Piece thing that can happen in One Piece, so it's okay. Maybe in some other series I'll be like, that's just fucking stupid, but in One Piece it just works, right? And so I'm just hyped. And Kid and Law and Luffy are at the same bounty. They are all in at the 3 billion mark, and damn, my boy has come a long way. He is finally a Jonko, and it's the end of an era. The only one that's kind of there is Shanks. He's now the boomer of the squad. So yeah, this is gonna be really interesting moving forward. I'm really excited. This was just really a really hype chapter, and especially a really good chapter to end, not to end One Piece, of course, but because One Piece is going like on a hiatus or like a brief break. So this is one of those good chapters that Oda does whenever he is going on a break or something. So I think this is a good note to go on a break on. So I think it's good, right? So chapter 1053 was good, very straightforward, but a lot of good One Piece things were crammed into it. And of course, Morgan News Morgans, I just love that dude, because he is not a good person, but he is doing something right, and that's getting the news out there. People should know what happened in Wano. And Luffy's bounty poster changed because he wants the world to know that this is Luffy's new form. And I don't think he knows it, but the Gorosei do know it, and the world will soon know that Luffy is Joy Boy. So However, there's one thing I also like, one more thing before ending my opinion on 1053, and it's about how they just keep saying that the world right now is in turmoil. We know that it's in turmoil because of what happened in Wano and what that means to the world, but also because um the reverie. But the thing is, we don't know exactly why the state of the world is in a wreck right now. We don't know why it is so crazy. And that's what I want to know. Like, why is the world in turmoil right now? What happened at the Reverie? What happened to Sabo, the Revolutionary Army, to Vivi, sorry, to Alabasta? So this is very interesting. This brings my opinion on 1053 to an end. And now I'm going to briefly and super fastly try to give my opinions on each chapter I missed. So 1047, the thing I want to talk about 1047 in just like a few sentences is that I like how, even though Luffy and Kaido were going off, by showing us the lanterns that the people of Wano put into the sky, we are reminded of what the battle is all about. What are they fighting for? Yes, there are a lot of things at stake in the Wano arc and during the war, but I think that the most important part of it all is just to end the suffering of the people of Wano, to set Wano free. And by ending the chapter 1047 with the festival and the people putting up their lanterns and stuff, I think is very emotional and very symbolic. 1048, Orochi dies. Nothing, like, there's nothing else to say in terms of what unique things happen in 1048 compared to 1047. So I'm just gonna say that Orochi died. Finally, thank God. You know how much I've grown to hate that character. And not just like as a character. It's just that I think he should have died a long time ago. 1049, Flash. We got the Kaido flashback. And this was one of my favorite chapters in this entire list, because we get a really good idea of what Kaido went through and where he comes from. I just hope that the anime kind of expands it a bit, because I think it was just like a compilation of Kaido's, the highlights of Kaido's life, things that happen, like the most important pieces of content we have to know. But there's a lot of interesting stuff here. So Kaido, since he was a child, he was born into a state of where he always had to go fight in wars. He was sold by his country to the Navy so they could attend Reverie. And turns out Kaido didn't exactly get captured by the Navy all that much. It's just that whenever he needed food or something, he would just break into the Navy. Can you imagine like Kaido being an admiral? That would have been crazy, right? Then we see that he got recruited by Whitebeard to join the Rock Pirates. Then this is a little bit strange. Maybe I just didn't understand correctly, but was he in God Valley? Because we get like a scene of, I think it's Big Mom trying to like say, hey, we need to go to God Valley because shit is about to go down. But then in the next page, we see that, oh, God Valley happened and they lost and the Rock Pirates dissolved. And I think it's Big Mom, right? Like saying to Kaido, Kaido, where were you, you rat? So was Kaido at God Valley? I don't know. That would have been interesting to see. Or I don't know. I just don't know, right? And also Kaido knew that that Luffy was Joy Boy. And I really enjoyed the way it all went down, that Kaido accepted that the person who was going to be Joy Boy, it wasn't him. And that it needed to be more than that, right? And I like the way he acknowledges Luffy as Joy Boy, and it really completes the whole thing that Kaido has been presenting to us since he has started fighting Luffy on the roof. And the way Kaido reacts to Luffy and speaks to Luffy is as if he is somewhat proud of him and rooting for him, but of course he is not gonna hand him the W, so he has to work for it. But I really enjoy the way Kaido accepts that Luffy is Joy Boy, and that he kind of knew, and that whoever Joy Boy was, it was the man that was going to defeat him. And I really love the thing that King says in response to this, and is that, well, in that case, I guess we'll never see Joy Boy. Like that was a good like moment to include and to show how how much King like respects and how much is he attached to Kaido. So I really enjoy like that hint of how King's relationship with Kaido is in terms of being his right hand man. So that's something really good touch, right? So after all of that, the Kaido flashback, there was a lot of interesting stuff in terms of his early childhood, the Rock Pirates, and after when he is started to become this the Jonko, and his plan to take over Wano, everything. It was just very interesting and I enjoyed it. And in this chapter, we finally get what we've been waiting for. Kaido was defeated in 1049, and so this is where the Wano arc starts to end. In 1050, Momo tells Sunisha that this is not the moment to open Wano's borders, and that's something I missed from 1053, and I forgot to mention, and that's very important. Pluton is on Wano, and we also get the revelation that Tenguyama, was it? The swordsmith is Odin's father. He went like undercover and stuff, and wow, damn. Even after Wano ended, we're still getting bombshells, right? And so yes, Pluton is on Wano. So could that mean that by opening Wano's borders, you are letting the world know that Pluton is there? Is Pluton Sunisha? Is Pluton maybe Momo in the same way Shirahoshi is Poseidon? Because Momo can also speak to Sunisha, and Sunisha is a very, very, very big organism, right? And so just like Shirahoshi is considered a weapon because she can control the gods of the sea, could that mean that Momo is the weapon? I don't know, right? It could be something else. It could be a hitting like thing. I don't know, but it really sparked my interest. And so yeah, Momo tells Sunisha in 1050 that he doesn't want to open Wano's borders yet. It could be because of Pluton. It could also be because, well, the world government, as we know, we right now know, they want to take over Wano, so it's maybe best for them to just, not open their borders yet. So 1051, it's basically more of the same. We in 1050 and 1051, we are getting the aftermath of the battle. We are seeing people celebrating and certain character arcs coming to an end. But the most relevant things I took from the chapter are that Yamato is finally with the Straw Hats, and they know who she is. And of course, Sanji is fanboying over her, and she just considered herself a Straw Hat. Like, she nominated herself, right? And I knew it. Like, I love Yamato, man, and I knew she was going to be Nakama. Like, screw Carrot, screw Momo. Perhaps I forgot her name. Damn. The little girl that had the ability to control the Beast Pirates because of her devil fruit. Maybe she can become like the cabin girl or something. That she's really cute. I love her, and she was so important during the raid on Onigashima. So maybe she can also be Nakama, right? But I'll take Yamato. She's awesome, man. I really love her. And we finally get to see Momo as he is fully. I do have some complaints about that. I'll go over that in 1052. So yeah, 1052, Yamato is with the Straw Hats, and I didn't expect that Oda was going to do this, but yes, they bathed. Everybody went to the baths, and Yamato bathed with Luffy and the gang, with the boys, and that's just wholesome, because she, it goes to this whole gender perspective thing, and I really enjoy reading how in One Piece Oda respects like Yamato's identity, and the fact that Yamato considers herself to be a man, and by definition, so she, by intents and purposes, she is a man in that regard, right? So I really enjoy how he respects that, and he included her in the men's bath. So that was really good. So yeah, we also know that the world government is still bent over on killing Robin or capturing her, right? And talking about killing and death, I we get to see who actually died, and turns out that Izzo, Hawkins, and Ashura Doji died. Hawkins was kind of weird. I don't know. He may still be alive, but I'm pretty sure he's dead. And the thing is, I didn't enjoy these deaths. Not because characters can die. It's the way that, first of all, One Piece has toyed with death so many times that it no longer has that impact, right? Second of all, the way some of these characters were handled and the pacing of the entire raid was just a little bit off at times. And so it's just a little bit anticlimactic. I just, you brought Izzo just to die, but somehow Kinemon and Kiku are alive. How is that even possible? And I've talked about this in past reviews, especially in the Spanish speaking ones. Like, I think that Kinemon and Kiku should have died. Like, and even if you could debate that a little bit, like, how is Apu still alive, but Hawkins is not? Like, Apu got hit by Zoro, CP0, by Drake, and who else was it? I think there was a fourth group he got, destroyed by, and he is still alive. And how is Kiku still alive? Like, and Hawkins is not. Hawkins got his arm cut off, just like Kiku, and so why is he dead and she is not? Of course, you could argue that, well, he got the treatment, but she got her arm cut off way before Hawkins. So what the fuck? Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. It really feels like they shouldn't have died, and it really took away from certain moments in the raid. But I'll go over that in some other video. It's not that it's horrible. It's just that I think that, like, it was kind of anticlimactic. Some of these fights we never got to see. Ashura died very... Don't even get me started. Like, he died because of Conjuro, and Conjuro should have died like 2 or 3 times before that. And so I'm like, at this point, I don't know. I no longer care, because each of these characters, or especially the ones that should have died, escaped death multiple times. However, these ones get one-shotted or lost a single battle, and they're dead. And I'm like, well, okay. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but nonetheless, it doesn't take away from the finale. It's just that, nitpicks here and there. Okay, this should be fast. Something that I forgot to mention in the review is, besides the whole Hawkins and Izzo dying thing, is Momo's character arc. I think that I don't know how to feel about the fact that he suddenly became an adult. Bam, he became Shogun. I think it makes sense from a character development point of view, kind of, but I think that Momo, like, still has a long way to go. Obviously, that is stated in the chapter, but he still has a lot of ways to go in other areas as well that I haven't seen that much. He did pull his shit together and became somewhat brave, so he learned to be brave, but I don't think he has the mentality of an adult yet. It's crazy. And I think that the Shogun should have been Hiyori. She should have been the Shogun, because she is the one that was there during the 20 years. She knows how Wano works. She was brave during the whole Orochi dictatorship. There's plenty of stuff that she had to know, and would have been a really interesting take on, oh, you thought that Momo was going to be the Shogun? Oh, then that, bam, it's Hiyori, right? But then you start that it kind of undermines the whole purpose of, like, Momo's character arc of him becoming the Shogun and surpassing his father. But I think that you could have made it could have happened differently. Like, Momo's can still, like, he could have still had the character development he he had in the character arc, because it was about surpassing his father in other areas, in other ways, of course. And if Momo wasn't going to become a shogun, then the whole thing about Momo being the last hope of the revolution, of the raid, and him becoming shogun was going, wouldn't make that much sense. But it's because Oda never put Hiyori in a spot where she mattered in terms of the political part of being of Wano having a successor to Kosuke Oden. I think that Momo becoming shogun is a little bit premature in my opinion, and I'm not saying, how I feel about female characters sometimes, but this is not the case. This is just like me. Like Hiyori's character could have been a guy, and I would have been like, she or he should have been the shogun. I feel that Momo still has a lot of ways to go as a character, and bam, just because some character had the ability to make him an adult instantly, it feels like that was so convenient. From a writing point of view, it seems like this is kind of premature. I don't know how to feel about this. Like, there's so many things that I'm asking myself about how making Momo from a 8-10-year-old to a grown-up in less than an hour. Like, how does that even work? There are so many questions that can just pop up to my mind in terms of his maturity, experience, lifespan. I also wanted to see Hiyori see his older brother being little, like being a kid. That would have been really cool. That dynamic of the little sister seeing her older brother as a kid, so that's like a wasted opportunity. So overall, it's not that I hate it, but it seems like it's not that he doesn't deserve it, but I don't think he should be there. Like I don't know. I understand it's Wano. They're kind of going for this whole traditional thing where the son of Odin has to be the shogun because he is the boy and stuff. But again, it's not a matter of gender or anything like that. It's more of a matter that Hiyori as an individual, like, had, in my opinion, way more things that make her a better candidate to be shogun than Momo. To be honest, she was brave. She was there. Momo went from being a kid to just having the body of an adult. Yes, he has courage. His heart is in the right place, but I just don't know how to feel about it. It feels kind of unearned, right? So that's my only nitpick with the whole Momo growing up thing. I also think that, like, Momo should have lived his childhood, but I think that's the price he had to pay for freedom. He gave up his childhood, his youth, so that Wano could live. So I think that's very powerful in and of itself. But it just kind of bothers me, his whole, like, from a progression point of view. But nonetheless, I still think that the story is very good. It's just that when it comes to the death of the characters I mentioned and Momo growing up, it felt as if Oda really rushed things. And yeah, you could say that maybe Oda has a really ambitious goal for his story, but I think he also just wastes a lot of time. Like the whole Conjuro thing, I think could have been resolved way faster, and it would have taken less resources, and that way maybe Oda could have given us more of what he sometimes can't put into the manga. So yeah, so those are my opinions on that. So anyways, in 1052, I also enjoyed seeing Zoro laugh and have a good time, because I think that since the new world, after the time skip happened, Zoro has always been very stale. Was a little bit, dry as a character, and seeing Zoro as he used to be back in the good old days of One Piece, laughing from time to time, being, he shouldn't be stale. You can use Zoro in many other ways, in comedy, in moments of laughter, in moments of, you name it. And I think that seeing Zoro in multiple moments where he is laughing and having a good time, or even being used as a joke, it's kind of refreshing. So I really enjoyed this. And seeing Chopper with Zoro, it's so cute. And seeing Yamato hug Luffy was also very wholesome. She is hugging Luffy a lot, so I don't know what that means. Maybe that's her way of being, like kind to others, especially because she was always deprived of a social life. So maybe that's her way of just being nice. So I really enjoyed the new Straw Hat dynamic. I love Jinbei. I love Yamato. I'm really hyped to see them all on the Sunny finally and seeing them have their dynamics and their banters. I'm really excited for the future of One Piece. And damn, and yeah, I'm really excited. So yeah, this has been my review of chapters 1047 to 1053 of One Piece, and I am very excited for the future of One Piece. I'll see you guys in the next video.